pass this motion to recommit. I now yield to the sponsor of a truly meaningful bill to reauthorize VAWA based on bipartisan legislation which was already passed the Senate, and a former victim of domestic violence herself, the gentlelady from Wisconsin, Ms. Moore.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nadler. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask my colleagues to please see this request through the eyes of the child who's assaulted by a family member and comes forward at school to confide in a beloved teacher. The woman in an isolated rural area where local law enforcement is under-resourced or transportation or legal services may be lacking or non-existent. The women on college campuses where rates of intimate partner violence are among the highest.
Gentlelady will suspend. I say again, the House is not in order. Take your conversations off of the House floor. Gentlelady will resume.
Please, Mr. Speaker, see this through the eyes of victims with disabilities who are at high risk of abuse and are often dependent on their abusers for care. In short, this VAWA funding means that a woman and even men who've been victimized can step out of the shadows, away from their abusers, and get access to counseling, legal services, or other services. And, Mr. Speaker, every single day for 3 women, this VAWA funding is the difference between life and death. It is so true that the CJS legislation before us has provided the requested level of support for victims and their families. But it's been chronically underfunded since the day they have opened their doors. And there are thousands of men, women, and children who are not being served. Please, this is an opportunity to provide this small increase to fill the gap between available resources and the desperate need to serve folks. We must commit adequate resources toward these effective, life-saving programs. And, Mr. Speaker, we must do it now. I ask my colleagues to vote for this motion to recommit.